Gem Center USA. You folks have seen me make a bunch of videos on these folks, on the material I cut from them. We took a look at them during the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show this year. I really like these guys. It's a family business. The grandfather started it with the geodes that he was collecting on their property, and eventually they moved on to all different kinds of materials. Love Gem Center USA. A lot of that pink Australian opal that I cut and the Brazilian serpentine that I get, that they call lemon quartz, I get from Gem Center USA. They have a nice catalog. I think I gave a few away during the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show. But we'll go take a peek in here and see what they're working with this year. Looks like maybe 1/4 of their booth compared to Tucson. But it's definitely not only a much smaller show compared to Tucson, but one of the slowest years probably in decades for the Denver Gem Show. Let's take a look. Does this thing spin? It sure does. Whoa! I didn't notice that they have this wheel set up to this agate breaker. I wish I could have got that on film. I'm not going to open it to reset it for you. But you can buy agates from them and they'll crack it open for you. Spin the wheel and it'll crack the agate contained inside of here. Genius idea. A lot of fun for kids and for people who don't really have lapidary saws and such. These folks, I think they do both wholesale and retail. If you can help it, do the wholesale. You're going to save yourself a lot of money. But I'm not 100% sure, but these might be the geodes from the gentleman's grandfather's property that they started with so many years ago. We'll ask the gentleman when we get a chance to talk to him. Some chalcopyrite stuff is somehow treated. I tried polishing some cabs of this in the past. It doesn't really work unless you don't polish the face and you kind of just work around the material. Purple's pulled out, almost looks like an odd purpurite, but chalcopyrite. You see this at every gem show. A lot of fun for the kids, probably very easy to sell online. So I did just ask the gentleman who works here, and these are the geodes that the family started with. If you listen, there's something inside of this one for sure. They're called Choice geodes from the middle of Chihuahua, Mexico. These are what this whole business was pretty much founded on. The gentleman's grandfather's property. Very cool. And it looks like these are what this is what it looks like inside. Right there. I'm sure there's just so much variation. One little picture doesn't do it justice, and you just can't fill multiple pages of this catalog with the same type of geode, you know what I mean? Very cool. These are some Selenite Roses. I don't know if these are a pseudomorph. I had some that had more like blades on them from the Verde Valley in California that were some kind of pseudomorph, perhaps Selenite pseudomorph over glaberite. I'm not exactly sure. These are $3 a pound. You probably get quite a few for a pound. You could easily sell these for $10 or more. But these are kind of some of the material that a lot of people start off with when they're collecting and stuff. So I could see them being pretty difficult to move, a lot of them. These are some Moroccan geodes. I think I still have a bunch of these from 2 Tucsons ago that I bought from Gem Center USA that I planned on cutting live, and I just never got around to it. Mostly hollow mini geodes. These would be really nice to buy, do a live show on Facebook or Instagram, let the people buy them. They get to pick which one they want. You slice it live. Sometimes they're winners and they make several times their money back. Sometimes it might be full of agate, but still really nice in hydro agates. Very cool. You could even polish these and make a few extra dollars. You can make a lot of money cutting geodes live on social media. In hydro, I wonder if there's a way to find out if they have the liquid inside. Then you can polish the geode really thin and make it really shiny so that you can play with the water that is inside of the geode, and that would be a lot of fun. I probably should buy a couple bags of those. $50 for the smaller ones, $150 for the slightly larger ones, but I'm not gonna. Oh, these are some heat-treated amethyst from Uruguay. Everybody sells these. They got to be a good seller, and it kind of probably depends on, you know, where you are at the time that you buy them. You'll find better prices here or there, but Village Originals is kind of known for the best prices in Uruguay amethyst. I don't think they're here in Denver, but I know for a fact that they are in Tucson at the Kino Electric Sports Complex every year.
Yeah, it's probably less weight. It's all based on weight.
Oh, okay.
And the quality.
Okay. So those are 5 something.
Look at this.
All right, thank you.
Beautiful calcite inside.
Not at all. And for you, I'd give you like 10% off.
Okay.
Very nice.
Thank you.
All right.
This piece has a nice big chunk of calcite down in the middle. This one has some as well. This piece looks a little damaged right there, but it's still beautiful. A lot of these prices are extremely negotiable. And a lot of people ask me, what's up with the sides? Sometimes people think that they paint, because this is painted on the back and on the front here. Some people say that they paint them to stabilize them. Some people say it's to cover up the back because they can be a little rough and a little inconsistent. Some people, especially out of Brazil, will polish the backs, and I think that looks best, but that's got to be a ton of work and you're gonna have to get a lot more money for it. I think for the most part it is just to color the rough pieces, but it could be to stabilize the material. Let's go ask this gentleman. Hey brother, how you doing? Hey, doing great. Do you mind when they paint this, is it to stabilize the geode? Or is it, because I know it's really inconsistent sometimes in the back, and
well, actually what happens is they cut the geode, right? And then they polish it. And then a lot of times they have to reconstruct some parts of it. So they'll actually like glue some crystals in there.
Oh.
You know, to make it, and then they back it with cement.
Can you just help me put in the car?
Oh, it's not just paint, it's cement that they put on the back.
All right, hey, thank you.
And then they paint the cement?
Right, they put like a plaster with sometimes even wire mesh, and then the cement, and then they paint the cement. Yeah.
Oh, so it kind of is stabilizing it a little bit. And
so that holds it all together, and it, you know, it makes it sturdy, so to prevent any, like you said, stabilizing.
Thanks, you were the right man to ask. I've asked a lot of people, and some people say it's just to color the inconsistent spots.
Oh,
and
no, this is all cement right there. And there's no way that's matrix.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, brother.
All right. Yeah.
Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
You think Tucson's definitely gonna happen? No way, it's not. I don't think.
Right. It'll happen, but it is going to be very different than any other Tucson, I think.
It'll be probably a lot of mom and pop for the first time in like 40 years, huh?
I don't know. I mean, if they don't open up the borders,
Yeah.
it's going to be totally different.
Do you think that if they don't open the borders and a lot of foreigners don't go to Tucson, do you think that you can expect the prices to be higher or lower because of the...
I don't know, man.
It could go either way, you know, like it was a bad year and...
There's less clientele, but there's also less vendors.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it just depends.
It's...
It might not be too different, I would assume, on pricing. Maybe on some things. Because there's going to be some things that aren't going to come in from other parts of the world, so it's going to be scarce, right?
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much for your time, brother. That is the gentleman who originally told me that his grandfather was the one who would harvest those geodes, and it kind of started this business. They vend at the Kino Electric Sports Complex, right down the street from where I vend during the Tucson show. I've never heard of this stuff before. It's pretty cool. It looks like a granite. These are probably definitely repointed, polished, but they're really cool. I don't even know how to say that. Oh, there we go. That's just the ID number. That is orange calcite polished. And this is Feldspar polished point, flat base. So they are definitely polished. I knew that for a fact when it comes to the tiger's eye and this serpentine over here. I forgot what this serpentine is called.
2 and 3.
Huh, it's definitely not the cat's eye points. But I'll look it up online and throw it up here on the video. I think it's talc powder that's running through this material, very similar to the Rickolite that you find in Grant County, New Mexico. Very cool. Nice geode flats. I love a geode that has amethyst naturally inside of it. I think it's such a disappointment when they dye them. I know it just helps to get to different people who like different colors and different things. Some people really don't mind if they're dyed. But something about amethyst inside of a geode, I just love. Especially when you're not expecting it. Very super cool. I really like this dish version with the druzy. You put all kinds of stuff in there that you want to have druzy geode medicine. Alrighty, gonna grab a. Do you mind if I take a catalog, brother?
No, go for it.
Cool. Got the catalog. I'll make sure to share this in a future video. But in the meantime, let's find some contact information for those of you who do not want to wait. Well, first and foremost, gemcenterusa.com. And let's see if we can't find a phone number direct. 915-553-7153 and toll free 1-877-533-7153. All kinds of cool stuff that they probably, didn't bring here to the show because of, just a much smaller show, much smaller booth spaces, and I don't think anybody really knew what to expect out of this year's Denver Gem and Mineral Show. Here's some nice lepidolites. Very cool. Those are $8 each. You could easily throw that on a pop socket if you're into the bigger style.
Really?
Even if you're into cutting your own pop sockets, you could throw it on there and cut around it. It's extremely easy to carve this material. I totally love it. I am going to be making a lot more pop sockets soon, and I'm so happy that those of you who've been watching the videos have started making your own gemstone pop sockets. There's a gentleman named Dave who works for a non-profit foundation in which he raises money for autism, and he's been making the best gemstone pop sockets I have ever seen, and I want to see more of you folks making them. I love seeing people who watch the videos of how to make them that go around and just make them 10 times better than me. It's such a blessing. These are cool slices. You could easily just wrap a piece of leather around that. I don't like to drill holes in things that are unnecessary, that don't necessarily need a hole in them, and these don't. You could do really cool things with these as is. I've ruined some beautiful pieces that didn't need holes. I found an amazing arrowhead one time out of basalt, and I drilled a hole in it instead of hiring someone to fashion some kind of braid on it. Anyway, those are $7 a pair. These are $3.50. Very nice. These are some nice little rubies here. Good color. I don't know if they're $10 for a whole tape or if it's $10 each. Either way, it's still a good deal. Here's the pink Australian opal I was talking about before. I love this stuff. It is a great seller. Unfortunately, I left my large chunk that I bought from these folks last year out in the snow, and since there's so much water in this material, after it thawed out, it was just crumble, and I just destroyed maybe $250 worth of pink Australian opal from leaving it outside in the snow. Do not leave your opals out in the rain and the snow. Don't be like me. Don't throw your money away. $10 each for these pieces. Definitely some good money to be made on reselling these. There's no fire in this material, at least none that I've ever heard of, but I love it. Good opal medicine, love the color. Love the feel. It cleaves almost like glass, but it is natural. Love it. Here's some beautiful, what looks like Hubei Mountain turquoise. I'm gonna have to buy some of these. I will be right back. And here's some beautiful yttrium fluorite from Mexico. I love this material. I bought a bunch of rough from these folks this year at the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show. I will be making a video and doing a giveaway on this stuff. It's incredibly stable for fluorite compared to other fluorites. I don't like cutting fluorite because it just kind of falls apart without stabilization. But this stuff really isn't the same as a lot of other stuff. I see that J. King Company has been cutting a lot of this material, and when J. King Company starts cutting something, you know it's one of the best deals on a particular material anywhere. They do a lot of Toolite from Norway, a lot of Campitos turquoise from Mexico, and I just recently saw them starting to cut a lot of yttrium fluorite. So you know it is in fashion if J. King is doing it, which is a QVC company. Those are good guys. Maybe, I really don't know. Alrighty, let's take a look at some of this rough. Just too much to see. I could go on and on and on, but I don't really have the time. Unfortunately, maybe I can come back tomorrow. Alright. I don't see prices on this. I know they charge by the pound, not by the kilo.
Right in front of the cab here.
Oh, you're so right. Thank you kindly.
I just saw my
What a blessing. So there are prices in the front. This particular price is not right because this is not blue tiger's eye, but perhaps on the other side. This is some cool Mookanite. I used to call it Mookanite. It's an Australian jasper, extremely hard, destroys your wheels, but if you're really into it, you're into it, and I understand. Dendritic opalite. But this says blue apatite right here, so it seems like the bins are a little mixed up here and there. But it's nice. You can check out my Tucson video. I go over most of this material and I give all the prices. Here is some serpentine. This is some green opal. I'm sorry again about the prices. I don't see them. All right, some stabilized turquoise. This looks like Campitos turquoise. We were taking a look at that a little bit earlier. I love Campitos turquoise from Mexico. It's kind of well known for the pyrite in there. J. King cuts a lot of this material and pairs it up with Toolite from Norway, the natural stone of Norway. That is $100 a pound, $140 for the rough. You could easily make that back super fast. What kind of turquoise do you think this is?
That's a good question.
It almost looks like Alicia or something.
This
but
is number 8.
Oh, nice. That makes sense.
This is the stabilized Mexican. This is number 8. Kingman.
You think the stabilized Mexican is Campitos?
I would say so.
I think so.
would say
Nice. $120 a pound for the number 8. Gotta love this stuff. I should have known by the way this is kind of speckly right here. It's super well known for the dots and the pooling that it gets on the surface of this material. Gotta love this stuff. I should buy at least a pound. Feels nice and stable, which is really good. I've had some of this material just crumble in my hands, and it's such a disappointment. Here's some super stabilized Kingman. Probably very beautiful on the inside. The lighter blue pieces kind of look a lot like Campitos, but this is definitely Kingman. When you get the eye for Kingman, you never forget it. Some of you folks might have seen me cut a similar material to this, the Lion's Paw Spiny Oyster Shell Composite with turquoise. This particular batch has like some kind of metal inside of it. It looks like copper, maybe bronze. I'm not exactly sure. I think this is going for $120 a brick. I was buying the material for closer to $35 a pound. And I went back to the Mexican gentleman in Tucson this year, and it was completely sold out. The gentleman even asked if I had any that he could buy back for me, so you know he was telling the truth. That was a sweetheart. I think that is Durango Turquoise Company, not to be mistaken with Durango Silver Company. And that's Gem Center USA. Love these guys. Check them out at the Kino Electric Sports Complex during the Tucson show. They're here around the corner at the tent section of the Denver show. I'm not sure if they're going to be here for the full 2 weeks because of all the craziness in the world, but they're great. I buy a lot of rough from them. I made a lot of money from Gem Center. Really?
Yeah.
Show me.
I already bought them.
You scared me.
They're already in the package.